Hello, in this video I'm going to explain the functioning of Transport with Guide. For guided tours, this is the service added to a project to account for the transport and guide requirements. When creating a guided tour project, the first services added to the project normally is the guided tour meet and greet at the arrival airport. For example, Cape Town. For a guided tour, select and add. The next service to add is Transport with Guide. Under Search Services, Transport, click on Transport with Guide. Select the provider, for example, African Eagle Transport with Guide, and search. The services available are displayed in alphabetical order with rates given per day. Find the service you need, depending on the requirements in terms of type of vehicle, driver and guide setup, and length of day. In terms of the type of vehicle, car, coach or minibus, the choice depends on the number of passengers. Up to 4 can use a car, from 5 to 10 can use a minibus, 11 or more passengers use a coach. For driver and guide setup, driver, guide or driver and guide, the choice depends on the service required. Drivers can take care of the vehicle and getting the passengers from A to B. Guides take care of the passengers, giving them information about the timing and activities of the day and a running commentary on the destination and specific places they are visiting, and interacting with suppliers, porters, hotel check-in and out, signing restaurant bills, paying entrance fees, etc. On a car or minibus, either one or the other can be used. For a coach, generally, both are used, but there is a driver-only option should the client specifically request it. If there is only a guide, the guide will drive the vehicle in addition to taking care of the passengers, but this is only possible on smaller vehicles. If there is only a driver, the driver will take some responsibility for interacting with suppliers, mainly dealing with porters and hotel check-in and out, but drivers are not expected to give any commentary. Guides get paid more than drivers because more is expected of them. In terms of the qualifications required, as well as language skills, guides need to be able to speak the passenger's language. In terms of the length of day, full day, half day, or overland, the system will automatically calculate the number of days based on the pickup and drop-off details, but the user must select the length of those days, as this does not depend on the number of hours only. A full day is plus minus 8 hours from after breakfast till before dinner. In other words, when the passengers have dinner at the hotel rather than a restaurant. A half day is plus minus 4 hours and a meal, either lunch or dinner. One or the other of these might apply for a leg in a major center, such as Cape Town, where the passengers arrive and stay for a number of nights at the same hotel. An overland day is when the itinerary travels overland, meaning that the guide and driver don't go home at the end of the day, but rather stay with the passengers. Such days are longer than full days, both in terms of time and of distance travel, so the cost is higher. A further refinement for coach with driver and guide only is the choice between rates for an itinerary that is full board or not. The not full board rates are higher as they include a meal allowance for the guide and driver. In the case of a full board itinerary, they would eat with the passengers, which is accounted for separately, as we shall see. A little flexibility is built into the tariffs. You do not have to select the appropriate rate day by day. Rather, select the one that applies to the majority of the leg. For example, for a leg combining Cape Town and the Garden Route, overland. For a leg with Cape Town only, full day. Once you have found the service you want, for example, coach with driver and guide full day, full board, select and add to the project. On the service to be added page, specify the pickup and drop-off details. And click Submit. The details of the service selected are displayed, including duration and additional calculation details as applicable. Transport and guide fees, meals and allowances per day and total, calculated as per day 7,286 times number of days, 4 equals 29,147. The rates are the same as in the search engine and correspond to the cost of the vehicle and fees and allowances to be paid to the guide. Tips and porterage per person and total, calculated as per person 144 times the number of bags. Here, 15 equals 2,163. This is a per person amount, making provisions for tips and luggage porters that the guide will pay on behalf of each passenger, added on top of the amount in the search engine. The total rate is calculated as the sum of the totals: transport and guide fees, meals and allowances of 29,147 plus tips and porterage of 2,163 equals 31,310. After the service is added by clicking Add to Basket in Service Basket, this is the same amount displayed. This is the total rate for the vehicle leg. A project can have several legs. For example, Cape Town to Cape Town and Durban to Johannesburg. When the pickup and drop-off locations of a leg are far away from the home location of the vehicle and guide, for example if the pickup is in Durban and the drop-off in Johannesburg, the legs that they must travel to or from these locations without the passengers has to be accounted for. These are referred to as empty legs, expressed as a duration in days. This is added to the duration in the calculation of the totals. Per day rate of 8,154 times duration plus empty leg, 1 plus 7 equals 8, equals 65,238. The rate displayed here and in Service Basket matches the main back spaces. In some cases, the rates may vary according to the number of backs, reflecting different sizes of coaches. To see the details, click on Detailed Rates. On the Cost or Sale tab, select All Periods, All Backspaces. Note the different backspaces displayed: 1 to 15, 16 to 25, 26 to 32, 33 to 44, and 45 plus. For the main period main backspaces, the system will automatically apply the appropriate rate. If the backspaces changes, for example from 44 to 30, the rate is automatically recalculated. Note that the system only calculates one vehicle per leg added. If the number of passengers in the project exceed the maximum capacity of the vehicle, for example 55, you need to add each leg twice so that the cost for the vehicle will be reflected twice. These are not the only rates associated with having transport with guide in a project. In addition, there is the guide and driver participation charge, what needs to be budgeted for the guide and driver accommodation, meals and entrance fees. This is calculated based on the services in the project and displayed in Service Basket at the bottom for the project as a whole and not per leg. If a service is added, for example, the amount in Service Basket is recalculated. Likewise, if a service is removed. To understand how these rates are calculated, click on Detailed Rates and click on the Free Comp tab. The number in the NBF Guides G column indicates the number of guides and/or drivers that will participate. By default, guides participate in all the services with the passengers except for accommodation in local towns. For example, in South Africa, Cape Town. Drivers participate in meals and overland accommodation. For example, in Durban. When there is a guide and a driver, G will indicate 2 where both participate, 1 where only the guide participates, and 0 when neither participates. Guide unit cost and sale indicate the rate for the guide to participate in the service. Total cost and sale indicate the rate calculated based on the unit rate and the number of guides and drivers participating, taking into account the complementaries. For a detailed look at the calculation, see the tutorial on the Detailed Rates page. The total of the total sales column is the amount displayed in Service Basket. On the Reference and Summary of Services, as well as booking emails and vouchers, a +1 or 2 indicates the number of guides and drivers participating. To amend the participation, click on Detailed Rates, Free Comp, click Modify, and amend the number under G. For example, if the driver won't have dinner, amend 2 to 1. Or if the guide will sleep at the hotel in Cape Town, amend 0 to 1 for each of the nights. Click Save. The totals are recalculated and the documents reflect the change. Bookings for Transport with Guide are considered automatically confirmed. They are handled by the Transport and Guide departments as applicable. Using planning tools, vehicles and guides are allocated. When the planning is finalized, the name of the vehicle and guide allocated appear. To prepare the tour documentation that guides and drivers need in order to make the tour a reality, under Operations, click on Guide Brief. From this page, you can print all the documents required for different kinds of tours. See the tutorial on the Guide Brief page for more details. Some of the visits under Tours and Meals guided tour visits are meant for guided tours only. When you select and add the visit to the project, the system checks for the presence of Transport with Guide in the project on the date of the service. If it does not find any, the visit will automatically be not included in our rates and a message is displayed. This visit can be included in our rates only if a guide accompanies the passengers. If you add to project, this visit will be added as a suggestion and won't be included in our rates. After adding in Service Basket, it appears as a suggestion. To avoid seeing the message for each leg of a guided tour, first add Transport with Guide. Then the remainder of the services. They are then added as included. However, if you added all the other services first, as soon as you do add the Transport with Guide, the visits will automatically be transformed to included. Similarly, if you delete the Transport with Guide from a project, any such visits will automatically be transformed to suggestions. For a Transport with Guide leg already in the project, in service timing, you can change the pickup and drop-off times. Because the rates are per calendar day and not per 24 hours, there are no restrictions on time changes, as there are with car rental. But if the dates change, you need to remove and add again. If, due to a change in the pax number, you need to change from a coach to a minibus or vice versa, you need to remove and add. Likewise, if you need to change from a full day to an overland rate. And that is it. Thank you for watching.